So what we will do is we will first recap what we have seen yesterday. Usually the first stuff. Let me share my screen. Yesterday, we went through the basic questions. We understood that a tester or a developer should develop the customer attitude, and then data as well as programs must be tested. Errors are inevitable in other industries, medical, mechanical, automobile, electrical. The problems or issues or errors are visible. They have a physical impact. There is a physical wastage, and then logistics are moving that or changing the place of that material is a cost. Whereas software is different. Developer also tests, tester should test, then customer should test. More tests will lead to better quality. Then we wrote test cases for ATM machine. We wrote some. We just discussed. We didn't write. We just discussed. What will you test in an ATM? What will you test in a remote control? Then I mentioned that the human mind is forgetful, and then you have to document it. Without documentation, it is not going to work properly. So we need to document every single piece of software that we do, whether it is development or design or testing or support. It has to be documented. Even a customer complaint has to be documented. Today, what we are going to see is, yesterday I gave an exercise. Let me once again ask, how many of you have done that exercise? Please raise your hands. Only 5 people have raised. 6, 7, 8, maximum 10. Okay. It is now, again I repeat, you may score 100 marks, it doesn't matter. You need to do it. Just knowing that you have done, or I know what to write for a bike, doesn't matter to me. You have to deliver. So you, as part of this program, you must work extra. You need to put some extra effort. You need to work hard. You need to do. Knowing doesn't matter. I don't respect just knowledge at all. Knowledge should become a skill. Knowledge should become an action. Only when the activity happens, I appreciate it. Till then, you don't get my appreciation. Okay. I'll be harsh. So you need to be a tough boss to get things done. Otherwise, things will not get done. So better do that. And another thing I noticed, I just stopped my screen sharing. Yesterday, I noticed thousands of people attended both testing and development. But when it came to aptitude in the evening, analytical reasoning and soft skills, less than, I think 350 to 380 people only attended. It should be the other way. Take it from me. Most companies do not expect you to know everything in terms of programming or testing when you join as a fresher. All the companies expect you to be very sound in analytical reasoning. They want you to be very good in communication. Communication means both writing as well as talking. So you need to be very good in that first. That is priority one. Unfortunately, people have not understood that. Knowing a programming language is not going to take you for any longer. It helps. But if you are very good in aptitude, lot of companies are ready, because they know only when you are good in aptitude, you can shine in programming or in software at all. So knowing that apt and then doing aptitude and communication or soft skill related is more important than these hard skills. So better attend that session. Don't skip that session. That is very important. If you do not shine in that, how many ever interviews you attend, you will not learn. Take it from me. As an employer, as a mentor, I believe in that very strongly. So never miss that soft skill sessions. Okay, it is better to attend live. Let us get back to today's portion. I'll just start sharing my screen. Okay, so you'll see a notepad. Okay, so in this notepad, what you are going to see is today's portions class notes. What we will do is we will push all these class notes in a GitHub public repository, both programming as well as testing. We will push it into GitHub. You will be given that access also. It is a public repository. We will push it. Now, let us take bike. Remember this. Whenever you have to test something. Okay, by the way, I see a picture in picture on my screen. Do you see two of my videos or just one of my video on your screen? Just check. Do you see two or one? Because in my screen, you see here, I'm showing the screen now, both videos. Okay, so, okay. And let me switch off one. You should be seeing only one. Now you should be seeing my notepad. Okay. I would like to write on the board, but at this point of time, I don't have a board. So we will use notepad itself. Anything that you have to test. Okay. There is a simple methodology, simple technique that you need to follow. What is that? Parts are also known as configuration. Whenever somebody asks, hey, check it or test it or verify it, you need to look first. There is a standard scientific approach. Parts are configuration. What does that mean? In a bike, that means don't start the bike and then ride the bike to test the bike first. Check whether the parts are there or not. Oh, this is the handlebar, this is the front wheel, this is the spokes, this is the hub, this is the chain, this is the back seat, this is the indicator light, this is the headlight, this is the number plate. So imagine how many parts? 50 to 60 parts, visible parts. There is a joke in Tamil, one of the Tamil movies, like comedy, and Vadivelu will see everything will be there, but in the bike engine will not be there, right? So what is the point? First thing that you should check, anything that you are given to test, first thing, check whether things are in place. That is the first thing you need to do. So seat, number plate, gear, kickstart, so many things in the bike. You put a checklist of all the parts, tick one by one, that itself will take 5 minutes. Whether a part is there, is the part there? That is number one. Number two, is the part in the right place? Suppose the number plate is not in the front and back, they put the number plates in the side. Still, it is not good. It is there, but it's not in the right place. Anything that you have given, you go to a hotel, say Saravanabavan Hotel in Tamil Nadu. You ask for dosa or idli. Standard, the dish will be in the center. The chutneys and sambars will be there in that order. Green, white, and red chutneys will be there. So there is a configuration in which that they have done. That is because it is a standard. Parts must be in place. Number two, security. My teacher used to ask this question. Anything that I give, suddenly you will operate and then test. Don't do it. Don't operate. That means I give a car, immediately you should not operate. Just check the parts first. Then check whether it is secure. Example he used to say is, I give you a gun. Will you immediately shoot to test it? Yes. Purpose of gun is to shoot. Purpose of grenade is to bombard. But that should not be the first test. Purpose, the ultimate purpose is that, but you cannot test the ultimate purpose right at the first shot. If I give the hand grenade, you cannot just like that pull that needle and then test it. That is not the right approach. Is it secure? Bike, is it secure? Is there a stand? Do you have the double stand? There is a keyhole cover. Is the petrol tank closed? Is there any leakage? Correct? All these things we must first check. Is the petrol tank leaking or not? We need to check first. Imagine if the petrol tank is leaking, don't operate on that. Same way, the number of security tests may be a few, but those are very critical. Before you switch on, in fact, I actually did one mistake. I still remember. We got a modem from the US way back in 2005. That modem, we connected all that LAN jacks, everything. One thing I forgot to check. What is the power supply? It was meant for 110 volts. I read all the manual, but one thing I forgot. What is the voltage? I plugged into 220 volts, bush, it's gone. I still remember that day. So voltage levels check. First, we need to check. If it is not done, it will create damage. So first check the parts. Second thing, check the security aspect, maybe 3 or 4 points. Same way, before you switch on any fan or major electrical connections, you have to use the tester. Is there anything coming out of it? During my college days in Gindi Engineering College, in the electrical lab, we used to first, before doing anything in the electrical lab, we need to first draw the diagram, take it to the master, get the approval, take it to the lab assistant, get the approval, then only you should do it, because it is 440 volts, 1000 volts, all these things are dangerous. One mistake you do, you are done. So there will be so many things. Before you do certain things, you need to observe certain indicative tests you need to do for security purpose. Is this clear so far to you? Is this clear? If so, please raise your hands. If this is clear, please raise your hands. Good. Very good. Now I am going back to my notepad. The third is functionality, also known as features. This is what the actual operations. You take the bike, you put the ignition, start it, kick start, or it is a button start. True. There are so many things that you need to do. So then doing the first gear, doing the second gear, brake operations, clutch operations, accelerating, turning left, indicator, horn, everything you will test. True. These are all functionality tests. That means operations of the object. So if I have to test a thermometer, I may have to heat, check the temperature. I may have to heat again, check the temperature. I may have to cool it down and then check the temperature. What is the reading? So all these things are operations of, it can be a thermometer, it can be a bike, it can be an aeroplane. But you have to check, you have to test in a particular order. Parts, security aspects, then functionality. Your thinking itself should be in that angle. You go to the doctor. What will the doctor do first? Tell me. What will the doctor do? Will he immediately do the surgery? No. So check the temperature. Before even temperature, stethoscope, heartbeat. Then show your tongue. Then show your eyes. Let me see the eye color, tongue. Then the temperature, then the pulse. Then they may press your belly if you complain about something, right? So there's a standard procedure every doctor does. Even before going to the surgery, before anybody is put for surgery, they will check the BP, they'll check the sugar level, there will be a blood test, they'll check the urine. Every symptom is normal, then only they will allow you for surgery. Otherwise not. So if they miss that procedure, damage is no, it's not irreversible. It is irreversible. You cannot come back again. So in software also, you must ensure the testing happens in a proper manner. Now, let me go to the notepad again. Operations after, okay, assume that number of operational tests will be very high, maybe even thousands. If you take Excel, it will be like millions of tests, right? Then the next step that they will do is performance. If you take a bike, I I start from zero. I'm quickly changing the gears. Within how many seconds I reach 70 kilometers per hour? Pickup from one gear to another gear. What is the pickup? That's a test. In case of bike, pickup. Then mileage per liter, how many kilometers I'm able to ride the bike. Third, load. I go doubles, I go triples. What is the mileage it is giving? What is the pickup it is giving when I go with the two people? I put more weight on the bike. Third, I go on a hill, go up. I go to Yerkadu or I go to Yelagiri, I go to Ooty. Whether the bike gives the same pickup or same mileage, so drastically on a normal plane, it is giving say 60 kilometers per liter. On a hilly terrain, it becomes 10 kilometers. You will never take the bike to hill. So what is the performance of the bike? Then heat, noise, smoke, whether it is giving a lot of smoke, whether it is giving a lot of noise, whether it is emitting a lot of heat, muffler gets very hot. What is the performance? All these things are performance because they are not directly related to the core functionality, but they are definitely related to the functionality. You do it for a longer time. I ride the bike for 10 hours. What happens? I ride the car for 15 hours. Will the AC work the same way at the beginning as well as at the end? We do not know. I had a car. First 2 hours AC will be very good. After that, AC will not be working well. So what I need to do is I need to switch off the car, wait for 15 minutes, then take, it will work fine. So doing it for a long time, doing with more weight, doing it so fast. In a remote control, I press the button very quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What happens? I do not know. All these things not directly related, but somehow related to speed, related to time, longer time, related to more weight or load. These are all performance related. There is one other area you need to check on everything. That is called compatibility. Compatibility is change in environment. What is this? Let me ask you this question. Let me stop my video screen and come back to video. Now let me ask you this. I give you 25,000 salary, recruit you. You may join, assuming that you are joining. I will ask you to go to, let us say, some unknown place, Gulbarga. Go to, you are transferred to Gulbarga. You join the office in Chennai. Within 3 days, I transfer you to Gulbarga. You go there. And same work, same salary. Nothing changes with respect to work or salary. But what changed? And you didn't change. What changed? Environment changed. Will you work with the same speed and interest and productivity the way you work in your native place or Gulbarga? You have a, you will have some change. So there is a, the environment makes the difference. And another thing I would suggest, you take a pen, write it on a bond paper. It will write in one way, you will find it is smooth. Write it on a newspaper. Newspaper is rough. Write it on newspaper. What will happen? Whether the pen writes with the same texture and speed, or you are able to write in the same speed on a bond paper versus newspaper, versus the wrapper, brown wrapper, very rough. Pen didn't change, ink didn't change, you didn't change. What changes? The environment. Same way, bike didn't change. The environment, slope or plane, that changed. Same way in software also. Let me come back to my notepad again. Okay. Pen on different papers. Okay. Paper types. Now let me ask you, Skype on Windows 10, Windows 11. Will it work the same way? Or say Ubuntu Linux? Same Skype. Features are same. Chat, voice, video sharing, screen sharing, group chat. Features are same. Whether the same Skype will work 100% the same way in Windows 10, in Windows 11, and Ubuntu Linux? We do not know. So you need to test it. So net, last 24 minutes, what I am trying to suggest you, any object you take, any software you take, think from 5 angles. 1, parts or configuration, security aspect, functionality or features, performance, and compatibility. Anything you first think in these angles, right? Think in these 5 angles. Most importantly, write it down. Many people are allergic to writing. Why should I write? Oh, documentation I don't like. Documentation is the key. Because so many people documented, we are able to Google. Imagine that nobody documented. What is the use of Google then? So many websites documented so many problems. You go to Stack Overflow, you go to some Quora. They documented their problem. They documented their question. Somebody documented the answer. Because the documentation exists, you benefit, I benefit, world benefits. So documentation is extremely important. In India, we lost so much of documentation. Okay, we lost so much of documentation. Documented, but many palm leaves were burnt, either during the war or during the invasions, or people unknowingly burnt with ignorance. That is why those kings and poets and great people at least documented certain things on rocks and copper plates. At least we have something to retrieve, even if it is buried for so many years. Someday somebody will find out. Palm leaves were gone. So many documentations we lost, especially Indian medicine, Indian astronomy, Indian mathematics. We lost so many things. Point is, unless it is documented in a massive scale with multiple copies, the loss is inevitable. So we must document every single thing that we do in software. Is this clear at this point? I want to give you one small exercise. I'll stop my, I'll come back to my video. Okay. Is this clear? Any doubts in this so far? Before I go further, I would like to have to answer a few questions before we move to an exercise. I'll wait. Any doubts? Just please ask the doubts. There is one question. Please give me one more example. Let me take again. I will share my notepad window. Okay. Let us take a pen. What will you test? Why am I putting so many objects and then asking you to test? Guys, you have to know this. I was consulting to a company in 2001. Microsoft came to India that time to Hyderabad. They want to interview testers. These testers were reading all these theories, everything. They went inside the interview room. Microsoft asked them, what will you test in a pen? All these questions, real-time objects, just objects that you can touch, feel. They asked the question. These guys fumbled. They said, I don't care whether you have got 3 years of experience or 4 years of experience. Your ability to relate a real-time object with respect to testing is zero. They told on face. I was the coordinator on that. Okay. So that is why these are all the hard learnings we learned. As the next generation, you should not be going through the same problems. So we are putting, let us take pen. Pen, cap, and neck, feeder, tank, nib, right? Ink, then the pocket holder pin, right? Whether all these things are there on the pen. So I will test this. Then I'll check cap fits the neck, because if the cap doesn't fit the neck, it is not secure to hold it on my pocket. Then leakage in the pen for my security aspects. Then I will start actually writing with full tank, with low level ink. Why should I do it? Anybody who has written using fountain pens, towards the end, the pen will leak more ink. Pena கொட்டுதும்பாங்க in Tamil. In the initial stages, it will be fine, but towards the end, the pen will start writing thick. So the way it writes is different. Then on with respect to performance, somebody asked, what will you test? Performance directly related to time, more users or weight, right? Definitely with respect to this performance. Now for the pen, how long can I write with one tank full? How fast I can write? If the nib is not smooth, you cannot write fast. What it will do? It will scratch the paper. Sometimes it may even scratch the paper. It may even tear the paper. So those are all performance related. Compatibility. As I said again, paper. I change the paper. Change ink. I use Brill ink, I use Chelpak ink, I use some other Camel ink, because there is a slight quality difference. Certain top-notch pens always tell you need to use my ink because the chemicals they use in that ink are different. True. Performance. 5 days I do not write. Then take the pen and then start writing. Whether it is dry, what should I do? You do like this, right? Have you done it? All these things are so anything, any object you take, parts, security, activity or features, performance, compatibility. I hope this is clear now, right? Okay. Somebody asked, what the use of this example? Yes, take it from me. Unless you are able to relate real-time stuff to in analytical reasoning, you cannot shine in software. End of story. Knowing Java language doesn't matter. Your logical thinking ability, your analytical thinking ability, anything that you are given in the real-time world. Because why? Software is nothing but, let me give an example. In Carnatic music, they used to put this Shruti using Tambura. Now Tambura is available as an Android app. Unless you know the real object. Now radio was there before. Radio is replaced by an application. Radio was a device before. Now radio is transferred, changed. Watch was a device before. Watch changed. Anything in real time, any object in real time will be having a software component. That is why you need to do that. You need to have a very clear understanding of these things. Okay. And somebody said, yeah, whether the pen overflows or not. Suppose to I fill the ink and then I try to tighten the neck, whether it leaks over the nib. Yes, it matters because it becomes smudgy. And there is one other thing. Okay. When you go to stop the sharing, screen sharing. When I take the pen to airplane, many fountain pens will just overflow because of the pressurized vessels. Whether it happens or not, there are certain pens they will say they will guarantee you can take it in aeroplane without getting overflowing. Okay. One other question one person asked, what are the career opportunities? Okay. Just to do one thing, let me just show you. Okay. TCS testing service business. Software testing. Okay. I'm just taking from the number one company. This is an article from TCS site itself. TCS says the pipeline indicates increasing traction for testing, right? Now let me say software testing market size according to Gartner. Gartner says software testing market alone is US $40 billion by 2021. Okay. And it is going to grow at 6% between 2022 and 2030. So there is a $40 billion opportunity already extracted. I will also tell Cognizant software testing revenue. Services revenue is this much. And if you look at it, revenue segmentation, right? Let me just check. Segmentation. If you look at some of these, then you could see, let me just see whether it shows testing as one of their business things or financial. They have put only in the industry rates. Okay. If you go to their what should I say? Their investor reports. Okay. Into their investor reports, they have given only based on the sectors, financial, healthcare, something like that. They will say SAP segment. Okay. So let us say TCS revenue segmentation. Let me search for that. Revenue breakdown on industry. Again, they have given for industry by region and just 1 second. You need to just understand this because it's a very good question. Why should I study testing, right? These are all, again, they have given bank based on banking information, that kind of segmentation. All I want is something like technology this much, SAP this much. That is what I would like to know. Okay. Let me find out. See, there is a huge amount of growth. Okay. Software testing in Infosys revenue. You can find out not just one person's salary. You can also look at what amount of business they get out of consulting. What look at this 2016 is again very old report. You could see, according to the report, financial sector, right, has been the largest adopter for software testing, representing 38% of global. Okay. That time 38.2 billion in 2015. So why should Infosys care about software testing business as per some market surveys? Okay. Sorry, I don't know whether I shared my screen or not. Sorry, I think I showed my this thing. I forgot to share my screen. Now watch this. I hope you are able to see my Infosys screen. Correct? Infosys says, again, this is a 2016 report. You can take the latest report. You can go to the investor reports, find it out. 38 billion in 2015. And if I go back, Tata Consultancy revenue breakdown by industry. And if I go back again, just 1 second. Software testing market report in 2022. This is by finance by yahoo.com. This is 22 market. They predict that the software testing industry is one of the biggest thing. Okay. This is very big thing. And you can look at, why should I talk about the money? Because only when the company gets money, more jobs will be created in that, right? So you could see, what you can do is do a search on their investor reports. Okay. You can look at what is the revenue coming through some of these segments. Look for segments. Within that, they will typically do one segment in terms of industry, manufacturing, healthcare, and all. What you can definitely do is check that and compare in with respect to Infosys to TCS. You could see testing is one of the growing market. So that is why this is an opportunity for you. Okay. Let me put that in the notepad. Testing is a fast growing market because more applications, more testing needed, more environment, more testing needed, because people expect perfection. Without that perfection, it will not work. I come back to my screen again. Okay. There is another question. Is testing plays in economical growth of companies? Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody said voice is not clear. Is my voice clear now or no? Raise your hands if it is clear. or type a message it is clear. Somebody, I think 2 or 3 people said not clear. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, sometimes there is a bandwidth on your end also, or if you are attending as a group from the same Wi-Fi, it will have a problem. Or if I talk too fast, that time also it may come, that issue will come. I'll try to talk a little bit slow. Okay. Testing definitely plays a vital part in the growth of every company, both in terms of revenue and profit. There are pure play testing companies. Testing alone is a business of their company. There are many companies like that. Okay, good. So with that, I will stop this session. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an exercise. As usual, there will be a small 2 or 3 minutes break. You can do the exercise. Again, we will convene back. What is this exercise? Now, so far I have given you exercise in terms of bike, pen, remote control, ATM machine. Now, everyone might have done railways reservation form. You would have booked a ticket. Assume that your friend has developed a new railway reservation form. It's a screen, true? And railways wants to use it. But you cannot just like that put the form. It will not work. If it has problems, then millions of users will be complaining that it is not working. The exercise is, okay, the exercise I would like to tell is, imagine exercise. What will you test in a railways reservation form? Just one page form, but it is crores and crores of people are using. Indian Railways is the record hit in the world. Indian UPI is a record hit in the world. Indian vaccines are the record hit in the world. And the way India handled COVID is also great. So our country is great. And we do everything at scale, massive scale. Imagine crores and crores of people are going to use, and you are the quality checker for that. If the customer is saying one complaint, first I will slap you. Then you have the responsibility, right? No customer complaint should come. That means you should ensure 100% perfection. Now, as an exercise, now time is 11:45. What will you test? Okay, I'm just copying and then pasting in the chat. Okay, what will you test in railways reservation form? You have to write it down on a notepad or whatever. You write it down or type it down. Let us take maybe 5 minutes break. 11:15 to 12:05. You take time, 15 minutes time. Assuming that you write one line per minute by thinking also, after thinking, at least I need to see 15 such bullet points. Right? So now you need to tell what will you test. Another important thing is don't write, I will just one bullet point, login, reservation start date. No, it should be a sentence with proper verb, proper object. It should be a good sentence, just a one line sentence, one test. It should be grammatically correct. That is what I want. Telling like a login, number of passengers, fare, starter, starting position, destination, 10 standard boy can tell. That is not what I want. You need to write every sentence in proper English with subject, predicate, object. It should be a grammatically valid sentence. Got that? That is the exercise. As a final year engineering college student or arts college student or other, you are studying in a college, we want you to write properly. No haphazard WhatsApp kind of chat kind of documentation. With that, I will stop the recording right now. The exercise